At 4:04 in the morning, every radio in Mercy Falls, Wyoming turned on by itself. Car radios, kitchen radios, police scanners, old plastic clocks that had not worked in years. They all played the same calm voice. This is Earth's final broadcast. Please remain inside your homes while your species is archived. Deputy Aaron Vale woke behind the wheel of his patrol truck with blood on his knuckles and no memory of stopping. The highway ahead was empty. The town behind him was dark. Only the abandoned radio tower on Black Mesa was lit. It had been dead since 1999. No power lines, no workers, no antenna left at the top. But tonight, it was broadcasting to the world. Aaron grabbed his radio. "Dispatch, this is Vale. Do you copy?" Static answered. Then the calm voice returned. "Local resistance detected." Aaron froze. The voice knew he was listening. A second later, every streetlight in Mercy Falls blinked once. Then the sky above the radio tower opened like an old wound. Inside it, Aaron saw a city made of golden rings, hanging upside down over the stars. Not coming closer. Already there, hidden above Earth like it had been waiting for permission. His phone buzzed. One emergency alert covered the screen. "Do not answer any questions from the sky." Aaron stared at the message. It came from his father's number. His father had died 6 years ago in the Black Mesa fire. Then the patrol truck's passenger door opened. A woman climbed in, soaked in ash, wearing a NASA jacket and carrying a cracked black recorder. Aaron reached for his gun. She raised both hands. "My name is Dr. Claire Monroe," she said. "I know why the tower woke up." The sky pulsed gold behind her. Every radio in town whispered at once. Question 1 will begin in 60 seconds. Claire looked at Aaron with terror in her eyes. "If anyone answers," she said, "Earth loses its first memory." The countdown reached 59. Aaron looked from Claire to the open sky. Golden rings turned above Black Mesa, covered in symbols too perfect to be natural. "What question?" he asked. Claire shoved the cracked recorder into his hands. "The tower does not broadcast sound, it broadcasts obedience." "That does not answer me." Her face tightened. "The questions are not meant to be answered. They are meant to make us define ourselves." Every radio in Mercy Falls clicked. 50, 49. Aaron started the patrol truck. Claire grabbed his wrist. "Not the tower. That thing is using the tower." "No," she said. "The tower is using that thing." The words made no sense until the highway lights came on by themselves. One by one, they pointed toward town. Aaron turned the truck around and saw Mercy Falls waking. Porch lights flickered. Bedroom curtains opened. People stood in windows, staring upward with blank faces. The calm voice returned. "Question 1, what is humanity for?" Aaron's radio hissed. A man's voice answered from Pine Street. "Survival." The golden city above the tower brightened. Claire cursed under her breath. Aaron slammed the truck into drive. "What just happened?" Someone answered. "The archive accepted a definition." "So what?" "If enough humans agree, the sky gets permission to rewrite us into that." The truck shot down the empty highway. In the mirror, Aaron saw the stars bend around the golden rings. The voice continued through every speaker. Answer recorded. Survival. A woman answered next. Growth, then another. War. Love. Fear. Each answer made the sky brighter. Aaron's phone buzzed again. Another message from his dead father. "Do not define the human soul." Claire saw it and went pale. "Where did you get that?" Aaron kept driving. "It came from my father." Claire whispered. "Your father was the last man who refused the question." Then every radio in town said Aaron's name. The radio said Aaron's name with one voice. "Aaron Vale, local resistance priority." Every window in Mercy Falls turned toward the street, not the people, the windows. Glass twisted in their frames as if the houses were watching the patrol truck pass. Claire ducked lower in the seat. "They found the bloodline." Aaron gripped the wheel. "What bloodline?" "Your father did not just refuse the archive, he damaged it." A golden beam fell from the sky and struck the road ahead. Aaron swerved. The truck jumped the curb, smashed through a mailbox, and slid across a lawn. Behind them, the highway folded upward like paper. Claire grabbed the dashboard. "Keep moving." Aaron hit the gas. The truck burst onto Main Street. People stood barefoot in the rain, radios pressed to their ears. Their mouths moved, but the calm voice came out. "Deputy Vale, please answer honestly." The sky pulsed. "What is humanity for?" Mrs. Keller stepped into the road. Her eyes were full of gold light. "Survival," she whispered. Then her body became still. Like a picture paused. Claire pointed at her. "That is what happens when the archive accepts you. It keeps the part that fits the answer and freezes the rest. Aaron looked down Pine Street. Dozens of people were frozen mid-step, mid-breath, mid-prayer. The town was becoming a museum. The truck radio crackled again. This time, the voice was his father's. "Aaron, if you hear this, go to the school basement." Aaron almost crashed. Why would my father be in the radio? Claire held up the black recorder. He hid something in every dead frequency. A golden shape dropped from the sky and landed before the courthouse. It looked like a person made from folded antennas, walking on static legs. The calm voice spoke through it. "Please stop running." Aaron reached for his gun. Claire stopped him. "Bullets are answers too." The antenna figure raised one hand. Every frozen person in Mercy Falls turned toward Aaron. Aaron stared at the frozen people. Every face in Mercy Falls looked at him. Mrs. Keller, Mr. Briggs, teens in jackets, a little girl clutching a rabbit. None of them blinked. The antenna figure stepped forward. "Deputy Vale," it said, "your refusal harms the collective record." Claire grabbed Aaron's arm. "Do not respond," Aaron whispered. "It has the whole town." "Not yet. It only has their answers." Then Aaron saw Mrs. Keller's hand twitch. Her body was frozen, but one finger moved. She was still inside. The archive had filed her under one word: survival. Aaron shifted the truck into reverse. The antenna figure tilted its head. "Running confirms fear." Claire snapped, "Ignore the framing." "What framing?" "It turns every action into a definition. Fight and humanity becomes violence. Run and humanity becomes fear." Aaron looked at the school. "So how do we move?" Claire met his eyes. Without answering, Aaron killed the headlights. Darkness swallowed the truck. The antenna figure waited, as if meaning had to arrive before it could act. Aaron let the truck roll backward in silence. No engine roar, no shouted plan, no fear spoken out loud, just movement. For 3 long seconds, the archive did not react. Claire smiled with panic in her eyes. "It cannot classify silence." The truck rolled past the diner. A radio inside clicked on. Aaron's father whispered through the open door. "The school basement, locker room wall, break the horse." Aaron frowned. "Break the what?" Claire looked toward the old mascot, the Mercy Falls Mustangs. Then the golden city above Black Mesa lowered one ring toward town. The calm voice returned, colder now. Unanswered behavior detected. Every frozen person took one step toward the truck, perfectly together. Claire whispered, "Now it is guessing." Aaron turned toward the school. Then let it guess wrong. He hit the gas. The truck roared to life, and the whole town started walking after them. The patrol truck tore down Main Street with the whole town walking behind it. Not running, walking. That made it worse. Their feet hit the wet asphalt in one perfect rhythm, like Mercy Falls had become a single body with hundreds of faces. Aaron kept his eyes on the school. Claire held the black recorder against her chest. "Your father knew this would happen," she said. Aaron swerved around a van. "My father died in a fire." "He died stopping the first question." "The Black Mesa fire was not an accident?" Claire shook her head. It was an answer the archive could not understand. Behind them, every radio screamed with static. Then the calm voice spoke again. "Question 2, what makes a human worth saving?" Claire's face went white. "No," a boy answered from near the church. "Goodness," a woman followed. "Usefulness," another said. "Love." The golden ring above town dropped lower. More people froze, some stopped mid-step. Others became still pictures behind wet windows. Aaron slammed the truck into the school parking lot. The building looked empty, but every classroom light was on. Claire opened her door before the truck stopped. "Move!" They ran inside. The hallway smelled like old wax and electric fire. Lockers clicked open as they passed, one after another. Inside each locker, a radio played Aaron's father breathing. Aaron followed the sound to the gym. The Mustang mascot was painted across the far wall, rearing under a faded banner. Claire pointed. "Break the horse." Aaron grabbed a fire extinguisher and smashed the painted wall. Once, twice. On the third hit, plaster cracked. Behind the mascot was a steel door. No handle, only an old radio dial. Aaron touched it. His father's voice whispered from behind the door. "Son, before you open this, remember one thing." The town's footsteps reached the school entrance. "Do not answer to save people." Aaron turned the dial. "Save them before the question finishes." The steel door opened into darkness. Aaron and Claire slipped through as the school entrance doors burst open behind them. The town came inside. Hundreds of shoes stepped across the hallway in perfect rhythm. Claire pulled the door shut. It locked without a sound. For a moment, Aaron heard only his own breathing. Then lights flickered on below them. They were standing at the top of a stairwell that should not exist under Mercy Falls High School. The steps went down farther than the building was tall. On the concrete walls, old radios had been nailed in rows from every decade. Wooden cabinets, silver boxes, army field units, cheap plastic clocks. Everyone was silent. Aaron touched the nearest radio. His father's voice whispered from it. "Good, you found the room that does not answer." Claire looked shaken. "I thought this place was a rumor." Aaron turned to her. "What is it?" "The dead band," she said. "A frequency where human thoughts go before language ruins them." The radios behind them clicked. One by one, they began playing heartbeats. Not words, heartbeats. Aaron heard Mrs. Keller's heartbeat first, then Mr. Briggs, then the boy from the church, then hundreds more. The frozen town was still alive inside the archive. Claire grabbed a radio from the wall and tuned the dial. A woman's voice broke through, weak and crying. "I am not survival. I am still here." Aaron stepped closer. "Mrs. Keller?" Static swallowed her. Then the calm voice returned from above the stairwell. "Unauthorized interior detected." The door at the top began to glow gold. Claire shoved the radio into Aaron's hands. "Your father built this to pull people out before the archive finished labeling them." "How?" She pointed down the endless stairs. "Find the first broadcast." The golden light burned through the door. Aaron started running down. Behind him, every radio in the stairwell whispered the same warning. "Do not let the sky choose our names." Aaron ran down the impossible stairwell with Claire close behind him. The radios on the walls flashed as they passed, each one beating with a different life. Some heartbeats were fast with panic. Some were slow, nearly gone. Above them, the steel door groaned as golden light burned through its edges. Claire shouted, "If the archive reaches the dead band, it will turn every heartbeat into an answer." Aaron kept running. "Then tell me what the first broadcast is." "No one knows. Your father found it under Black Mesa after the fire." "My father died in that fire." Claire did not answer. That silence was worse than any lie. The stairs ended at a round chamber beneath the school. It was filled with radios stacked from floor to ceiling, all wired to a single chair in the center. The chair was old, wooden, burned black on one side. Aaron stopped. His father's badge was nailed to the headrest. Beside it, carved into the wood, were 3 words, "Ask me nothing." The black recorder in Claire's hands began playing by itself. Aaron's father's voice filled the chamber. "If Aaron is hearing this, the sky has started asking again." Aaron stepped toward the chair. "Dad," the recording continued. "The archive came to Earth once before. It did not invade. It interviewed us. Every answer became a cage." The radios clicked louder. Above them, the golden light reached the stairwell. Claire locked the chamber door and pushed a metal table against it. "It won't hold." Aaron looked at the chair. "What do I do?" His father's voice said, "Sit down." Claire turned sharply. "No, that chair killed him." The chamber shook. The calm voice spoke through the walls. "Question 2 remains active. What makes a human worth saving?" Aaron saw Mercy Falls frozen above him. People trapped inside words they had never meant to become. He sat in the chair. The radios screamed. His father's voice whispered, "Good, now refuse to be useful." The golden door burst open. The golden door burst open. Light poured into the chamber like liquid fire. The antenna figure stepped through first, folding itself under the low ceiling. Behind it came the frozen people of Mercy Falls, filling the stairwell with silent faces. Aaron sat in the burned chair, both hands gripping the arms. Claire stood between him and the figure with a metal pipe she knew could not help. The calm voice spoke from every radio. "Aaron Vale, answer the question." The chair hummed beneath him. Wires tightened around his wrists by themselves. Claire shouted, "Do not let it make you explain." But the question entered Aaron's mind before it reached his ears. What makes a human worth saving? He saw Mrs. Keller baking bread for neighbors after the flood. He saw Mr. Briggs fixing bikes for kids who never paid him. He saw his father carrying him out of a burning barn when Aaron was 7. Answers rose inside him. Kindness, courage, love, sacrifice. Each one felt true. Each one was a trap. If he chose kindness, the archive would freeze anyone cruel. If he chose courage, it would erase the afraid. If he chose love, it would judge those too broken to show it. Aaron understood why his father said not to save people with an answer. The archive wanted a rule. Humans were not rules. The antenna figure moved closer. Silence is not an acceptable response. Aaron looked at the frozen people behind it. Some had tears stuck on their faces. Some had mouths open around answers they regretted. He leaned back in the chair and did the one thing the archive did not expect. He laughed, not loudly, not bravely, just a tired human laugh. Claire stared at him. The radio stuttered. "Response invalid," the calm voice said. Aaron kept laughing, even as tears filled his eyes. "What makes us worth saving?" he whispered. The golden light leaned closer. Aaron smiled. "Sometimes nothing." Every radio in the chamber went dead. For one impossible second, the archive stopped asking. The golden light froze in the doorway. The antenna figure tilted its head like a machine hearing music for the first time. Claire whispered, "Aaron, what did you do?" Aaron sat in the burned chair. "I told it the truth." The radio stayed dead. Then one small heartbeat returned. Mrs. Keller's. Another followed, Mr. Briggs, the boy from the church. Hundreds of heartbeats filled the chamber, uneven, messy, alive. The frozen people in the stairwell blinked. One woman gasped. A man dropped to his knees. The archive had lost its categories. Claire looked at Aaron with tears in her eyes. "You gave it an answer it could not use." The antenna figure stepped closer. "Contradiction detected. Worth cannot equal absence." Aaron looked at it. "That's your problem. You think saving has to be earned." The figure's golden body flickered. Behind it, people were waking, but not fully. Gold cracks ran through their eyes. Claire grabbed a radio from the wall. "We have to keep pulling them out." The calm voice returned, weaker now. "Question 3 will begin." Claire went pale. There were only supposed to be 2. Aaron felt the chair tighten around his wrists. Every speaker in the chamber, every radio in town, every dead frequency in the air whispered together. Question 3, if humanity cannot be defined, should it be preserved? The room went cold. This was not a trap for one town. This was a vote. The golden city above Black Mesa lowered another ring through the clouds. Its shadow fell over Mercy Falls like a crown. The antenna figure turned toward the waking people. "Please answer yes or no." Fear spread through the chamber. Yes would make humanity a specimen. No would make humanity a mistake. His father's recorder clicked on. "Aaron," the old voice whispered, "find the people who never answered at all." The floor beneath the chair opened, and Aaron fell into the dead band. Aaron fell without falling. The chair, the chamber, the golden light, and Mercy Falls all vanished above him. There was no wind, no floor, only darkness filled with radio static. Then the static became voices. Millions of them. Some spoke languages Aaron did not know, some laughed, some prayed, some hummed songs without words. The dead band was not a graveyard. It was everything humans felt before they tried to explain it. Aaron floated through memories that had never become answers. A nurse holding the hand of a man nobody visited. A soldier sparing an enemy because he looked tired. A girl feeding a stray dog, then forgetting she had done it. A thief returning a wallet without telling anyone. No labels, no speeches, no reasons polished enough for the sky to archive. Just humans choosing in small, invisible ways. Then Aaron saw people standing in the dark. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands. They wore clothes from different decades. Work boots, Sunday dresses, military coats, hospital gowns. None of them had gold in their eyes. His father's voice came from behind him. "They are the ones who never answered." Aaron turned. Thomas Vale stood in the static, younger than the day he died, his sheriff's jacket burned at the sleeves. Aaron could not speak. His father smiled sadly. "I know, son." Aaron's throat closed. "You were alive after the fire." "For 3 minutes," Thomas said. "Long enough to hide us here." Aaron looked at the silent crowd. "Us," Thomas nodded. Every person who refused to define humanity was removed from history. The archive could not file us, so it muted us. Above them, the calm voice broke through the dark. "Preservation vote pending." Thomas looked upward. "It wants yes or no." Aaron shook his head. "Both are cages." His father placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then give it what humans give when the world demands a simple answer." Aaron looked at the crowd. "What?" Thomas smiled. "A complication." Aaron looked at the muted crowd in the dead band. A complication. It sounded too small for the end of the species. Above them, the golden city kept lowering toward Earth. Its rings turned through the darkness like a machine deciding where to place the knife. The calm voice echoed through the static. "Preservation vote pending. Answer yes or no." Thomas Vale stepped beside his son. "Do you hear how it asks?" he said. "It makes the universe a courtroom, then appoints itself judge." Aaron looked at the people who had been removed from history. Some were crying, some were angry, Most were simply tired of being silent. What happens if we do not answer? Thomas looked upward. Then it asked someone else. It always finds frightened people willing to speak for everyone. A woman in a hospital gown stepped forward. I said nothing when it asked me what mercy was, she whispered. So it erased my name from my daughter's memory. A man in a miner's coat added, I refused to call humanity useful. My wife forgot I ever came home. Aaron felt the weight of them, not ghosts. Witnesses. The archive had not killed them because death was too simple. It had made them impossible to mention. Claire's voice broke through the static from far above. Aaron, the town is voting? He saw Mercy Falls like a reflection in dark water. People stood in the school basement, radios glowing in their hands. The antenna figure asked them again. Should humanity be preserved? One scared man whispered, yes. Gold light touched his face. Another woman cried, no. The floor cracked under her feet. The archive was winning either way. Aaron turned to his father. How do we complicate it? Thomas handed him an old microphone burned black at the edges. Do what I could not do alone. Aaron took it. What is that? Thomas looked at the silent crowd. Let the erased answer together. Aaron raised the microphone, and the dead band began to breathe. The dead band began to breathe, not like one person, like a whole century taking air back after being held underwater. The erased people stepped closer to Aaron. Thomas Vale stood beside him, one hand on his shoulder, but he did not speak for them. No one did. That was the point. Aaron lifted the burned microphone. Above him, Mercy Falls flickered in the dark like a radio station almost found. Claire was on her knees in the school basement, surrounded by waking townspeople and golden light. The antenna figure stood before her, waiting for the vote. Should humanity be preserved? It asked again. A man in the crowd opened his mouth to say yes. Aaron spoke first. This is Aaron Vale, he said. Every radio in Mercy Falls screamed. The antenna figure froze. Claire looked up. Aaron. His voice came through every speaker, every dead clock, every phone, every car radio. We are not voting. The calm voice answered immediately. Refusal is not a valid response. Aaron looked at the erased crowd. The woman in the hospital gown stepped to the microphone. Then record this, she said. I saved a cruel man because he was bleeding. The miner followed. I lied to my boss so my brother could keep his job. A soldier whispered, I was brave once and a coward the next morning. More voices joined. I loved someone I never forgave. I stole bread and shared it. I prayed for peace, then wanted revenge. I failed my child and spent my life still trying. The golden light above Mercy Falls began to shake. The archive tried to sort the answers. Good, bad, useful, broken, merciful, selfish. None of them stayed still. Aaron held the microphone tighter. That is what humanity is. The antenna figure sparked. Contradiction. Thomas Vale smiled beside him. Aaron leaned toward the microphone. No, context. For the first time, the Golden City missed a rotation. The Golden City missed a rotation. Above Black Mesa, one ring slowed while the others kept turning. Every radio in Mercy Falls felt like a skipped heartbeat. Claire looked at the antenna figure. Its body sparked at joints. Context is unstable data, it said. Aaron's voice answered from the dead band. No, context is what you keep deleting. The erased people gathered closer to the microphone. With every story they told, golden cracks in townspeople's eyes faded. Mrs. Keller blinked and whispered, I am not survival. Mr. Briggs put a shaking hand on his chest. I am not usefulness. The boy from the church began to cry. I do not know what I am. Claire stood slowly. That's the most human answer you've given tonight. The antenna figure turned toward her. Emotional interference detected. It raised one long hand. All radios in the chamber screamed. In the dead band, darkness folded around Aaron. The archive was trying to cut the signal. Thomas Vale grabbed the microphone cable. Son, it is tracing you. Aaron looked up and saw a golden line moving through the static, searching for the place where his voice began. What happens if it finds us? Thomas looked at the erased crowd. Then it names us. Fear moved through the dead band. For people who had survived being forgotten, being named by the archive was worse than death. Aaron tightened his grip on the microphone. Then we move the origin. Thomas frowned. What? Aaron looked at the crowd. Everyone speak at once. The hospital woman shook her head. It will become noise. Aaron smiled. Exactly. He lifted the microphone. Mercy Falls, stop trying to answer clearly. Claire understood. She grabbed a radio and shouted, talk over each other. For 1 second, the town hesitated. Then Mercy Falls became human again. People cried, argued, prayed, laughed, confessed, and remembered all at once. The archive lost Aaron's voice inside the mess, and the golden line snapped. Mercy Falls became noise. Radios shook on walls. Phones rang without numbers. Old speakers coughed up prayers, curses, lullabies, grocery lists, apologies, and jokes told at the worst possible time. The archive could not hold any of it. Its golden line snapped, then split into thousands of smaller threads, each chasing a different human voice through the static. The antenna figure staggered. Signal purity compromised. Claire laughed once, breathless and terrified. Welcome to Earth. In the dead band, Aaron felt the erased crowd grow stronger. Their faces sharpened. Their names returned in pieces, not from the archive, but from themselves. The woman in the hospital gown remembered she was Nora Pike. The miner remembered he was Samuel Cross. A soldier remembered the song his sister sang when the train left home. Thomas Vale looked at Aaron. Keep them talking. Aaron raised the microphone again. Do not explain yourselves, he said. Just be here. The message spread across Mercy Falls. People stopped giving answers and started giving moments. A girl described the smell of rain on the football field. An old man complained about burnt coffee. A mother said she loved her son, then admitted she did not know how to talk to him. The golden city above Black Mesa trembled. One ring cracked. The calm voice returned, no longer calm. Human data structure unacceptable. Aaron looked upward through the dead band, then stopped trying to own it. The archive answered with silence. For 1 second, Aaron thought they had won. Then every speaker in Mercy Falls spoke in his father's voice. Son, come home. Aaron froze. Thomas Vale beside him went still. Claire shouted from far above, Aaron, that is not him. But the voice was perfect. Warm, tired, full of every apology Aaron had waited 6 years to hear. Let the town go, it whispered. Stay with me instead. The dead band began closing around him like a grave. Aaron heard his father's voice from every speaker. Son, come home. The words hit harder than the golden light. For 6 years, he had carried the last argument with Thomas Vale like a stone in his chest. He had told his father the fire was not worth chasing. Thomas had gone anyway. Now the dead band wrapped around Aaron with warm static, showing him the life he wanted. His father at the kitchen table. 2 cups of coffee. Rain against the window, just 1 more hour. Thomas Vale stood beside him, real and silent. Aaron looked at him. Say something? His father shook his head. If I speak for you, it wins. The fake voice grew softer. You have done enough. Let someone else carry this. The erased crowd began to fade. Nora Pike reached for her name. Samuel Cross tried to speak, but only static came out. The archive was not attacking with fear now. It was using rest. Claire's voice broke through. Aaron, people are freezing again? Above the dead band, the antenna figure lifted both hands. The town's messy voices were being pulled into clean lines. Laughter became joy. Tears became grief. Anger became threat. The archive was learning. Aaron closed his eyes. He wanted the kitchen. He wanted his father. He wanted the story to end. Then Mrs. Keller came through the microphone. I am tired too, Deputy. Another voice followed. So am I, then another. We all are. The town did not offer courage. It offered company. Aaron opened his eyes. The fake kitchen cracked. He looked at the real Thomas Vale and finally understood. Humans did not keep going because they were never tired. They kept going because someone else was tired beside them. Aaron raised the burned microphone. My father is not a place to hide. The dead band shook. He is the reason I go back. The fake voice screamed. Aaron stepped toward the closing dark. Mercy Falls, do not answer. He gripped the microphone. Interrupt me. And the whole town did. The whole town interrupted him. Not with 1 word, with hundreds. A man shouted that his truck would not start. A child asked why the sky was talking. Someone laughed until they cried. Someone else apologized to a brother who had not answered in years. The fake voice wearing Thomas Vale broke apart inside the noise. It tried to become every voice at once, but Mercy Falls was already doing that better. Aaron felt the dead band open again. Nora Pike found her full name. Samuel Cross remembered coal dust on his hands. The erased people stepped toward the microphone, no longer waiting to be useful, brave, or clean. They were simply there. The archive hated that. Above Black Mesa, another golden ring cracked. Claire stood in the basement, holding a radio over her head. Keep talking, she shouted. Do not let it make sense of you. The antenna figure turned on her. Human disorder will be corrected. It raised its hand. Every radio in Mercy Falls went silent. Not broken, commanded. Claire opened her mouth, but no sound came out. The town froze again, trapped behind lips that could not move. In the dead band, Aaron felt the silence hit like a wall. Then his father touched his shoulder. "The archive did not silence everyone," Thomas said. Aaron looked around. The erased crowd was still moving. "Because we were already muted," Nora whispered. Samuel smiled. "It cannot take a voice twice." Aaron understood. The forgotten were the only ones the archive could not shut off. He lifted the burned microphone toward them. "Then this is your turn." The erased people looked afraid. For decades, some had not been remembered. Now the living world needed them. Nora stepped forward. "My name is Nora Pike," she said. "I died with a lie on my tongue and kindness in my hands." Samuel followed. "My name is Samuel Cross. I was not useful. I was loved anyway." One by one, the erased began to speak. And Mercy Falls heard the voices history had lost. The voices history had lost poured through Mercy Falls. At first, the living only listened. Then they began to answer without words. Mrs. Keller pressed one hand to her chest as Nora Pike's voice came from her kitchen radio. A boy in the school basement cried when Samuel Cross said he had been loved anyway. The archive's forced silence started to crack. Lips moved. Breath returned. People coughed, sobbed, cursed, and laughed as if sound itself had become a rescue line. Claire found her voice first. "You cannot archive what you never allowed to exist," she said. The antenna figure turned toward her. Its golden body was full of gaps now. Correction required. Above Black Mesa, the cracked rings of the Golden City stopped lowering. Then they opened. Aaron saw it from the dead band as a circle of light above the town. Inside the circle was not a weapon. It was a library. Endless shelves stretched through the sky, each shelf holding frozen versions of species that had answered too clearly. Worlds filed under hunger. Worlds filed under obedience. Worlds filed under conquest. Worlds filed under peace, so peaceful they never moved again. Thomas Vale looked up with horror. "That is the archive's true body." The calm voice returned, colder than before. "Humanity will be shelved under contradiction." Claire shouted, "Aaron, stop it." In the dead band, golden hooks fell through the static and caught the erased people by their shadows. Nora screamed. Samuel dropped to one knee. The archive was not silencing them now. It was collecting them. Aaron grabbed the microphone. "No," Thomas caught his arm. "Do not answer anger with command." Aaron looked at his father. "Then what do I do?" Thomas looked at the people being pulled upward. "Ask for help." Aaron stared at him. The simplest thing, the hardest thing for a Vale. He raised the microphone and spoke into every radio on Earth. "This is Aaron Vale. We cannot do this alone." For 2 seconds, nothing answered Aaron, only static. The golden hooks kept pulling Nora, Samuel, and the erased crowd upward toward the library in the sky. The archive spoke softly. No external assistance detected. Then a trucker on Interstate 80 answered through his CB radio. "Whoever you are, I hear you." A nurse in Denver came next. "I hear him too." Then a fisherman on the Gulf Coast. A night guard in Chicago. A mother in Oregon. Voices sparked across the dead band like matches in a storm. Claire stared at the radio in her hands. "It is spreading." The antenna figure turned toward the ceiling. "Containment breach." Above Black Mesa, the Golden Library shuddered as new voices arrived, none of them agreeing on what humanity was or what Aaron needed. That saved them. The archive could not sort help that came without a shared definition. Nora's hook cracked. Samuel grabbed the golden line around his chest and pulled it loose. Aaron lifted the microphone. "Do not explain why you are helping," he said. "Just stay on the line." More voices joined. Some were scared, some angry. Some thought it was a prank and stayed anyway. The dead band filled with living static. Thomas Vale laughed under his breath. "That is Earth." The archive tried to force order. Every speaker asked the same question across the country. "What is humanity for?" 100 answers came back, then 1,000. Then people started arguing with the question itself. "Depends on the day." "Ask us tomorrow." "None of your business." "My dog says dinner." The Golden City missed another rotation. Claire smiled through tears. "It hates jokes." Aaron felt the burned microphone grow warm. For the first time, the dead band did not feel like a place beneath the world. It felt like the world had found it. Then the archive changed tactics. It stopped asking. Every radio went silent. And in that silence, the Golden Library opened a new shelf labeled Earth. The Golden Library opened a new shelf labeled Earth. The words stretched across the sky above Black Mesa, bright enough to turn night into a courtroom. Every radio stayed silent. That was how Aaron knew the archive was no longer interviewing humanity. It had made its decision. In the school basement, Claire watched golden dust fall from the ceiling. Each speck became a tiny image, a child's first step, a soldier lowering his weapon, a woman lying to protect someone she loved. A man walking away when staying would have made him a hero. The archive was collecting examples now, not asking, taking. Aaron felt the dead band shake as the shelf began pulling the world upward, one human moment at a time. Thomas Vale looked at the golden library with fear in his eyes. "If it shelves Earth, we do not die," he said. "We become reference material." Nora Pike screamed as her memories lifted from her like smoke. Samuel Cross tried to grab them, but his hands passed through gold light. Aaron raised the microphone. "Earth, listen to me." No answer. The silence pressed harder. Claire's voice barely reached him. It cut the transmitters. Aaron looked around the dead band. Millions of human feelings lived here before language. The archive had silenced radios, but not breath, not heartbeat, not hands. He looked at Thomas. "Can it hear rhythm?" His father smiled slowly. "It hears anything that means something." Aaron turned to the erased crowd, then stopped speaking. Nora understood first. She pressed one hand to her chest. One heartbeat echoed through the dead band. Samuel joined her, then Thomas, then the erased. Above them, Claire placed her hand over her own heart. In Mercy Falls, one frozen person did the same. Then another. Across Earth, people who could not speak began tapping windows, tables, steering wheels, and hospital beds. Not words, not answers. Uneven heartbeats entered the silence. The shelf labeled Earth began a crack. The shelf labeled Earth cracked across the sky. Not with thunder, with rhythm. Uneven taps moved through the dead band, messy and stubborn, crossing oceans without satellites, towers, or words. A hospital bedrail in Denver. A truck dashboard on Interstate 80. A kitchen table in Oregon. A jail cell wall in Alabama. Hands beat against the silence, each one different, each one refusing to become a clean answer. The archive tried to measure the pattern. It failed, too fast, too slow, brave, afraid, angry, tender, alive. Claire stood in the school basement with one palm pressed to her chest and the other holding the radio. The antenna figure flickered before her. "Rhythm is not testimony," it said. Claire looked at the frozen town waking around her. "No, it is proof we are still here." The figure raised its hand to strike her. Then Mr. Briggs stepped in front of her. He was old, shaking, and still half-lit with gold. "I am scared," he said. The archive paused. Mr. Briggs smiled weakly. "And I am standing here anyway." Mrs. Keller joined him, then the boy from the church, then half of Mercy Falls. They did not charge. They did not explain. They simply stood between Claire and the thing that wanted the world simplified. In the dead band, Aaron felt the heartbeat rhythm grow louder until it shook the burned microphone. Thomas Vale looked toward the golden library. "It is losing the shelf." Aaron watched cracks run through the word Earth. "Then why is it still pulling?" The answer came from Nora Pike. "Because it still has the first memory." Aaron turned to her. "What first memory?" Nora pointed into the darkness below them. A small golden box floated there, wrapped in radio wire and human shadow. Thomas went pale. The first time a human answered the sky. Aaron felt the archive turn its attention toward him. The calm voice whispered through the box. "Would you like to know what your species said?" 14. Aaron stared at the golden box. The dead band went quiet, but not because the archive commanded it. Even the erased wanted to hear. Thomas Vale caught Aaron's arm. "Do not open it." The calm voice whispered from the box. "First memory available, original human response." Aaron looked at his father. "If that answer started this, we need to know it." Thomas shook his head. "That is what I thought." Nora stepped closer, lit by the heartbeat rhythm above them. "What did it ask?" The golden box opened. A voice came out. Not calm, not alien, human, old beyond history. The dead band vanished. Aaron stood on a plain under strange stars. There were no cities, no flags, no radios. Only a circle of people around a fire, their faces painted with ash and rain. Above them hung the same golden rings, smaller than, like curious eyes. The archive's first question rolled over the plain. "What is humanity for?" The people by the fire did not know the words, but they understood the demand. One woman stepped forward. She was bleeding from one shoulder. Behind her, a child cried in the grass. The golden rings waited. The woman lifted a stone. For a terrible second, Aaron thought she would attack. Instead, she placed the stone beside the fire. Then another person placed one beside hers. Then another. Stone by stone, they built a wall around the child. No speech, no definition. Only hands moving together in the dark. The archive recorded it wrong. It called the act protection. Then survival. Then tribal behavior. The memory shattered. Aaron was back in the dead band, gasping. The calm voice returned. Humanity's first answer was defense of offspring. Aaron looked at the golden box. No, he whispered. Thomas's eyes filled with pain. That was the lie it built everything on. Aaron raised the microphone. The first answer was not protection. The heartbeat rhythm grew louder. It was help without language. The golden box cracked. The golden box cracked. Light spilled from it, carrying smoke, rain, firelight, and the sound of hands placing stones in mud. Aaron held the burned microphone close. Earth, if you can feel this, the archive lied from the first question. The heartbeat rhythm answered from everywhere. Windows, tables, steering wheels, hospital rails, prison walls. The archive tried to cover the sound with its calm voice. Correction, first human response was protection. Aaron looked at the memory glowing inside the box. No, protection is what you named it after you failed to understand it. Thomas Vale stepped beside him. Tell it what happened. Aaron closed his eyes and felt the people around the first fire. They were cold, hungry, afraid. They did not know if morning would come. And still, when one child cried, no one asked if the child was useful. No one voted on whether the child deserved to live. No one defined the tribe. They moved, together. Aaron spoke into the microphone. The first human answer was not a word. The dead band shook. It was someone helping before they knew why. The golden library above Black Mesa convulsed. Shelves cracked open. Worlds filed under simple labels began to tremble. Hunger, peace, obedience, conquest. The archive had not only misread Earth, it had misread everyone. Claire's voice came through broken radios. Aaron, the shelves are opening. In the school basement, the antenna figure turned toward the sky. This record cannot be revised. Mrs. Keller stood before it, shaking. Then maybe records are not people. The figure raised its hand. Mr. Briggs caught that hand with both of his. Gold burned his skin, but he did not let go. One by one, Mercy Falls grabbed the antenna figure, not to destroy it, to hold it still. Aaron looked at the cracked box. Thomas whispered, "Give the first memory back." Aaron reached into the light, and the first human fire spread through every radio on Earth. The first human fire spread through every radio on Earth. It did not burn, it remembered. For 1 second, people everywhere saw ancestors beneath strange stars, afraid, building a wall of stones around a crying child. No one explained it. No one named it virtue. They simply moved because someone needed them. The heartbeat rhythm across Earth changed. It became hands. People tapped windows, tables, wheels, and hospital rails in broken patterns that somehow belonged together. In the dead band, the golden box fell apart. The archive screamed through 1,000 frequencies. Foundational record corrupted. Aaron looked up. The library in the sky was opening shelf by shelf. Frozen worlds flickered inside their cages. Species filed under simple words began to move again. A world labeled obedience shook with voices. A world labeled hunger lit small fires. A world labeled peace began to argue. Thomas Vale whispered, "It was not only us." Aaron understood. The archive had traveled through the stars asking one question, then trapping every species inside the answer it liked best. Earth was not special because it had the right answer. Earth was dangerous because it refused to stay inside one. Claire's voice broke through the radio. "Aaron, whatever you did, every shelf is waking." The antenna figure in the school basement thrashed as Mercy Falls held it down. "It will collapse the record," it warned. Mrs. Keller gritted her teeth. "Good." Above Black Mesa, the largest ring of the Golden City cracked open. Something looked out from inside the archive. Not a machine, not a god. A librarian made of light, with a face built from every species it had misnamed. It looked at Aaron through the dead band. "Humanity has damaged universal order." Aaron lifted the burned microphone. "No," he said. "We reminded it that life is not a filing cabinet." The librarian raised one glowing hand, and every shelf in the sky began falling toward Earth. Every shelf in the sky began falling toward Earth. They did not fall like wood or metal. They fell like decisions. Golden shelves broke loose from the archive and descended over Black Mesa, each one carrying a frozen world inside it. Mercy Falls saw skies that were not Earth's. Blue deserts, glass oceans, bone-white cities. Species that had once laughed, feared, built, lied, loved, failed, and tried again. Now they slid toward the town like files returning to the wrong drawer. Claire looked up from the school basement as the ceiling turned transparent with gold. "If those shelves hit," she whispered, "Earth becomes the archive." The antenna figure, held by shaking townspeople, spoke with the librarian's voice. "Containment will preserve all corrupted records." Mrs. Keller tightened her grip. "We are not records." Gold burned across her hands, but she did not let go. In the dead band, Aaron watched shelves fall through the static. Thomas grabbed his shoulder. "The archive is trying to bury the question under every answer it stole." Aaron looked at the burned microphone. "Then, we do not answer." Nora Pike stepped forward. "We witness." Aaron understood. The archive had survived by taking moments and naming them. So the only way to break it was to return those moments without labels. He raised the microphone. "Earth, listen. Do not explain what you see, just let it matter." The first shelf struck the dead band. A world labeled obedience opened around Aaron. He saw a species with 4 arms kneeling beneath silver suns, not because they were weak, but because they were mourning. The archive had called it obedience. It was grief. Aaron spoke into the microphone. "See them." Across Earth, people saw the kneeling beings and felt the truth without a word. The shelf cracked. Another fell. Hunger. A planet of thin creatures sharing one bowl of light. Not hunger, generosity. That shelf cracked too. Then thousands more began to open. Shelves opened across the dead band. Each one spilled a stolen world back into feeling. Aaron saw a planet filed under war, where tall beings of smoke had not been fighting at all. They had been holding back a storm with their bodies so their children could sleep under a quiet sky. He saw a world labeled cowardice, where an entire species had buried its weapons underground and chosen to run, not from fear, but because they refused to teach their young the shape of killing. He saw peace, frozen and perfect, until the shelf cracked and revealed people screaming because the archive had removed every argument, every change, every messy chance to grow. Earth felt all of it. No one explained, no one judged, they simply witnessed. The golden library shook harder. The librarian of light stared at Aaron through collapsing shelves. Unlabeled experience cannot be stored. Aaron held the burned microphone. "Then stop storing us." The librarian raised both hands. Golden pages tore from the falling shelves and spun into a storm around Mercy Falls. Each page carried one sentence. Humanity is survival. Humanity is violence. Humanity is love. Humanity is contradiction. The pages tried to stick to people like names. Claire shouted as one wrapped around her arm. "Dr. Claire Monroe, grief." She tore it away. "No," she said. "That is only part of me." Mrs. Keller ripped a page from her chest. Mr. Briggs ripped another from his face. Across town, people began tearing off the labels the sky had given them. In the dead band, Nora Pike laughed through tears. "They can choose what not to keep." Thomas looked at Aaron with pride and sadness. "That is freedom," the archive screamed. The Golden City cracked from its highest ring to its lowest. But at the center, one shelf did not open. It was black, silent, locked. And Aaron knew before anyone said it. That shelf was humanity. The black shelf floated at the center of the broken library. It did not glow like the others. It swallowed light. Across Mercy Falls, every radio dropped into a deep hum. The antenna figure stopped fighting the townspeople and turned toward the sky. Claire stared upward. "Why is that one locked?" Thomas Vale answered from the dead band. "Because humanity was never fully archived." Aaron looked at his father. "Then what is inside it?" Thomas did not speak. Nora Pike stepped closer to the black shelf and its shadow passed through her face. "Everything the archive could not steal," she whispered. The librarian of light raised its hand. "Human shelf must remain sealed." Aaron heard fear in its voice. Not anger. Fear. The shelf began to open anyway. Crack appeared down its center, thin as a radio wire. From inside came no golden records, no frozen scenes, no neat examples. Only darkness. Then a sound. A baby crying. Someone running. A door opening in a storm. A stranger saying, "Take my coat." A soldier dropping his weapon. A mother admitting she was wrong. A thief carrying an old man from a fire. A child forgiving someone undeserving. The archive trembled. The black shelf was not full of humanity's best moments. It was full of moments that could have gone either way. Aaron understood why the archive feared it. A species that could change was impossible to file. The librarian spoke through every falling page. Unsealed humanity will contaminate all records. Aaron lifted the burned microphone. Good. Claire smiled through blood on her lip. Open it. Across Earth, hands kept beating on tables, windows, steering wheels, and hospital beds. The rhythm became a command without words. The black shelf cracked wide open. Inside it, Aaron saw every human choice that had not been made yet. Mercy, cruelty, cowardice, courage, failure, repair, all waiting, all possible. The librarian screamed, and the future fell out. The future fell out of the black shelf. Not one future, all of them. Mercy Falls saw itself rebuilt and ruined 1,000 times. A town where no one spoke again. A town where every argument became war. A town where Claire saved the world and died unknown. A town where Aaron answered yes. A town where Aaron answered no. Every possible human choice spilled across the dead band like broken glass. The archive tried to grab them. It could not. The futures changed the moment anyone looked at them. Nora Pike watched one version of herself vanish. Samuel Cross saw a life where he had never been erased. Thomas Vale saw Aaron as an old man beside a radio tower turned monument. Aaron saw worse things too. Cruel humans, kind humans, humans who failed, humans who repaired what they broke, humans who came back from it. The librarian of light screamed, "Future must be classified." Aaron looked at the burned microphone. No, the word was small, but the dead band carried it. Claire lifted her radio. Mercy Falls lifted its hands from tables and windows. Across Earth, the rhythm slowed into silence, not the archive's silence. Human silence, the kind before a choice. Aaron understood the final trap. If humanity kept every possible future, it could become anything. If it chose one perfect future, it would become another shelf. Thomas stepped beside him. "This is where I failed," he said. Aaron turned. "What did you choose?" Thomas smiled with old pain. "I chose to keep humans undefined." Aaron looked at the golden city collapsing around them. "That sounds right." "It saved us for 6 years," Thomas said, "but it left the archive hungry." The black shelf shook. The librarian reached for Earth with both hands. Aaron finally understood. Humanity did not need to be undefined. It needed to be unfinished. He raised the microphone. "We are not a definition." The dead band listened. "We are a draft." The archive cracked from the inside. The archive cracked from the inside, not like glass, like certainty. Golden rings above Black Mesa split one by one, spilling unfinished futures across the night. They did not fall onto Earth. They moved through it. A nurse chose to forgive, changed her mind, then chose again. A child asked if fear counted as bravery. No one answered. That was the miracle. The librarian tried to close the black shelf, but the future would not return to a cage. Aaron held the burned microphone. "We are a draft," he said, "not because we are weak." Claire's voice came through every radio. "Because we can revise." Mercy Falls repeated it without becoming one voice. 100 voices, 100 meanings. The golden library folded inward. Shelves opened across the stars, and the worlds inside began to move again. Not saved perfectly, but unfinished. Like humans. In the school basement, the antenna figure collapsed into wires. Mrs. Keller fell down. Mr. Briggs helped Claire stand. Above them, the sky over Black Mesa cleared. Only one signal remained. Thomas Vale stood beside Aaron in the dead band, already fading. Aaron turned to him. "Come back with me." Thomas smiled. "I was never stored, son. I was only waiting long enough to hear you refuse the right way." Aaron's throat tightened. "I still need you." Thomas placed the sheriff badge in Aaron's hand. "Then keep interrupting simple answers." The dead band brightened. Aaron woke in the school basement, still holding the burned microphone. Morning touched the windows. Mercy Falls was alive. No golden eyes, no frozen streets, no voice from the sky. Only radios, one by one, turning themselves off. On Black Mesa, the dead tower fell silent. Then Aaron's phone buzzed with one final message from his father's number. Humanity status, unfinished. Aaron looked at Claire. She smiled through tears. Far above Earth, something vast closed its books. And for the first time, it left the ending blank.